Hello and welcome. Have you ever really stopped to think about the journey your money takes? I mean, from the moment it hits your account to, well, where does it all go? Today, we're going to follow that money trail from your own personal budget all the way up to the massive financial plan for the entire country. Let's jump right in.
It's that question, right? You work hard for it, you see it come in, you see it go out. But what's the bigger picture? In this explainer, we're going to connect all those dots. We'll link your personal spending and saving decisions to the taxes you pay, and then connect that to the giant blueprint that runs India.
So where do we even begin a journey that big? Well, the most logical place is right here, with you. Because before we can wrap our heads around the nation's finances, we've got to get a grip on our own. And that's where personal finance management comes into play.
Now, personal finance management, or PFM, sounds super formal, but it's really not. Think of it as the GPS for your financial life. It's not just about looking in the rearview mirror to see where your money went. It's about taking the driver's seat and creating a real plan for your income, your spending, and your savings so you're actively building the future you want.
The best way to understand PFM is by breaking it down into these 5 core pillars. And I love this pocket money example because, hey, we've all been there, right? First, you've got your income, the money coming in. Then, spending, the money going out. Saving is the cash you intentionally put aside for a goal, like that new Xbox. Protection is your safety net, for when life happens. And finally, investing, which is all about making your money work for you. Get these 5 things right, and you've built a solid foundation. So the very first step in managing your spending is getting brutally honest about this, the difference between needs and wants. Needs are your non-negotiables, a roof over your head, food on the table. Wants are all the things that make life awesome, but you won't literally perish without them. That trip, the latest phone, that fancy coffee. Here's the simple test. Could you physically survive without it? If the answer is yes, my friend, it's a want.
Okay, so how do you actually put that into practice? Well, here's a super simple but incredibly powerful tool, the 50-30-20 rule. It's a basic framework for your budget. The idea is 50% of your take-home pay goes to your needs. 30% is for your wants, the fun stuff. And a non-negotiable 20% goes straight into savings and investments. It's all about balance, right? Living your life today while also looking out for your future self.
All right, we've got our personal house in order. Now, let's zoom out, because a chunk of the money you earn doesn't actually stay in your financial plan. It becomes part of a much, much bigger one. Yep, we're talking about taxes. And it helps to think of it less like money you're losing and more like your investment in the country itself.
In India, taxes basically come in 2 flavors. You've got direct taxes, like income tax. The name says it all. You pay it directly to the government, and you can't pass that bill to someone else. Then you have indirect taxes, like GST. These are different. They're baked into the price of things you buy. The shopkeeper collects the tax from you and then passes it along to the government. So one's a tax on what you earn, and the other's a tax on what you spend.
Let's see that indirect tax in action with GST. You can see a clear pattern here, right? The most essential stuff, like fresh food, has 0 tax. Things we need, like basic packaged foods or important medicines, have a low 5% tax. But as you move up the ladder to things like electronics, services, and then full-blown luxury items, that tax rate climbs higher and higher. The whole system is designed to tax our wants more than our needs.
Okay, so let's swing back to direct tax for a second, because we need to decode the one document that causes so much confusion, the salary slip. It all begins with this big number called CTC, or cost to company. Now, here's the key. This is not your take-home pay. It's the total cost your company incurs for having you on board, which includes things like their contribution to your retirement fund.
Okay, one step down from CTC, we get to gross salary. Now we're getting warmer. This is your total salary before anything gets taken out. It's your basic pay plus all your allowances, like for house rent and so on. It's the top-line figure on your payslip before the deductions kick in.
And finally, we arrive at the holy grail, the number we all actually care about, your net salary. This is your in-hand pay, your take-home pay. It's the money that actually physically lands in your bank account after things like tax and your Provident Fund contribution have been deducted. And this is the number you should be using for that 50-30-20 budget we talked about. So what's all that other stuff on the payslip? Let's meet the main characters. Your basic salary is the core, fixed part of your pay. HRA is there to help with rent. Now, Providence Fund, or PF, is super important. It's a retirement fund where you put in a bit and your employer matches it. It's a fantastic deal.
Then you have smaller things like professional tax, which varies by state, and a standard deduction, which is just a flat amount you can subtract to lower your taxable income.
All right, buckle up. We've managed our personal money. We've seen how taxes are collected. Now we're taking the biggest leap of all. Where does all that tax money go? And how are those decisions made? The answer lies in one of the most important documents in the country, the union budget. This is honestly the best way to think about it. If your PFM is the budget for your home, the union budget is the annual financial plan for the entire Indian family, all 1.4 billion of us. It spells out exactly where the government expects to get money from and, crucially, where it plans to spend it all in the coming year. So what's the point of this massive annual exercise? Well, it's about making some really big decisions. It's about channeling our collective resources into things like roads and healthcare. It's about creating jobs, trying to shrink the gap between the rich and the poor, and keeping prices from spiraling out of control. And of course, it's the day we all find out if there are any changes to our tax rules.
Ever wonder how this giant plan even comes together? It's a huge, months-long process. It starts with all the different ministries saying what they need, then tons of data crunching at the finance ministry. But my absolute favorite part is step 4, the halwa ceremony. I'm not kidding. It's a tradition that marks the start of the printing process, after which all the officials involved go into a lockdown to make sure nothing leaks before the big reveal in Parliament on February 1st.
So let's follow the money. Where does the bulk of it actually go? This gives you a crystal clear picture. I mean, just look at that. Defense is the undisputed heavyweight champion of government spending by a huge margin. After that, you see massive investments going into building our country's infrastructure, our roads, our highways, and our railways. This is a snapshot of the nation's biggest priorities. And this is where it all comes full circle. This massive, high-level government budget isn't just something you read about in the news. It reaches right into your wallet. Obviously, it can change your income tax, but it also influences interest rates on your home loan, sets the rules for your retirement savings, and can even change the price of your cooking gas through subsidies. Your personal finances and the nation's finances are completely intertwined.
So there you have it. From your first budget to the nation's balance sheet, we've traced the entire incredible journey of your money. The link between your financial choices and the economic health of the country is real. So the final question isn't for me to answer. It's for you. Now that you've seen the whole map, what are you going to do with your piece of it? Thanks for watching.